Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and hope everybody's doing well uh, this afternoon. This is Terrence Clark. As you all know, I'm the president and CEO of the New York and New Jersey Minority Supply Development Council. And I am pleased today that my colleagues from Tompkins Ventures are going to provide you some very helpful information on the two things that are most important in the operation of a business, which is finance and working capital. Working capital is extremely important, and of course, the king and queen of working capital is cash flow. You can't do business if you don't know your cash flow or if you have poor cash flow. So they're going to provide you some information and a system that you can probably be able to connect with that's going to help your businesses grow, help them get the cash flow that they need to be able to move forward. We all recognize that we're in a little bit of a different time now. We have a change in administration. We have some issues as it relates to diversity, equity, inclusion, but you will still be running your business. And so therefore, these types of topics and this type of information is key in your growth. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Dorcas Patterson, who will give you a little brief introduction, and we will go into the workshop. Hope this is enjoyable and very helpful information to you and your business. Good afternoon, Dorcas.
Thank you, Terrence, and good afternoon to everyone. Good morning, depending on where you are. I am a business partner with Tompkins Ventures, and I've worked with Terrence in the New York, New Jersey MSDC for a number of years when I worked with J&J. And for this year, we are collaborating with Terrence and this organization to bring a series of webinars that will focus on helping you grow your business. Thus far, we had the first webinar was on transportation and logistics. The second webinar was on ergonomics and industrial safety. And the third webinar related to workforce solutions and how you can better manage your labor. This is the fourth in the series. And as part of this process, the organization has created a partnership engagement and feedback process that will allow you to have access to all of the presentations that we give for the webinar and to solicit your feedback on the topics that are of great interest to you. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, it gives you an opportunity to go back and access some of the information that we presented previously. So we hope to really build a partnership with you and Tompkins Ventures, because we think it can add value to you in helping you grow your business. And so please take advantage of the opportunity to access the presentations that we give you and to contact us for further, more in-depth conversation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to one of my business partners, Zane Browning, who is going to take it from here. Thank you very much.
Dorcas, thank you very much. My name is Zane Browning. I head the capital practice at Tompkins Ventures, and thanks for your time today. At Tompkins Ventures, we're really at our best when we're working closely to understand your company's challenges. With the information that we learn from partnering with you, we match your enterprise's challenges with our curated and vetted network of commercial partners, consulting partners, and capital partners. We're really focused addressing on 5 major factors of business success, which are leadership, technology, supply chain, facilities, and capital. Today, I'm happy to share with you one of our most dynamic and in-demand capital partners, which is Clear. They have a financial technology platform that unlocks very efficient working capital, and supply chain finance solutions for companies like yours, executing business with both larger customers and the smaller suppliers to your companies. Clear's platform and solutions allow you to obtain, manage, and deploy working capital addressing some of the most difficult terms with your customers without demand, or I'm sorry, addressing this sometimes the difficult terms your customers demand without sacrificing equity in your company or taking on debt. In the same way, Clear unlocks the same efficient, lower cost capital for your suppliers, thus preserving your company's longer accounts payable terms without sacrificing your suppliers' health. Thank you again for your time and attention today. I know it's quite valuable. And with that, I'm pleased to introduce Chris Hale, who is the CEO and founder of Clear.
Thank you, Zane. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, MSDC. Clear is really looking forward to the opportunity working with more businesses that are members of New York, New Jersey Minority Supplier Development Council. I have a brief presentation to share with you all with the intent to try to make financial technology focused on working capital really simple. So hopefully I'm able to deliver on that. Presentation is clear, I hope. And we are clear. So working capital solutions for minority suppliers. Is this platform exclusively for minority suppliers? No, it is not. But we have tested it in a number of examples and circumstances where we know that it'll work well for minority suppliers and for minority supplier development programs. Hopefully I can keep this very simple for you all and tell you why it should matter to you as a business owner, someone trying to serve a customer base, and someone trying to scale a smaller, medium-sized business. In addition, if you are representing an enterprise buyer who is trying to improve their supplier diversity programs, I will speak to how the Clear platform can make that operational and business process more effective, more impactful, and hopefully more profitable to your company. So really simply on Clear, we've made it really easy. You can create a team account in 2 minutes time. You can open a high yield commercial bank account in 5 minutes time. And when you've done those things, you can gain access to capital in somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 hours, improve the gross margins of your business in approximately 5 days, and change the way you sell in 2 weeks with the focus on scale. I know these are fairly large claims. We've been proving them with suppliers across Fortune 1000 supply chains, both minority and otherwise, for the last 3 years, and did a lot of work with what's called local content or small business suppliers in Africa for 7 years prior. So we've really refined our business processes, really refined our offering, and I'll explain to you why this process here results in access to institutionally priced, very rapidly deployed, and bespoke capital that fits well with a scaling supplier business. So here's what we've learned. To a supplier, your customers are your most valuable assets. A lot of the financial sector, financial technology, banks, private credit funds want to look at your asset base. Do you have any buildings? Do you have any trucks? Do you own any land as a business? And a lot of businesses, especially supplier businesses, are trying to stay lean and agile as they scale. And you might answer those questions by saying, well, no, I don't have buildings or trucks. I'm trying to be a lean business and a smart supplier, but I sell to, Tesla or Walmart or IBM or Coca-Cola. And sometimes, the financial sector is unable to look at those customers as your most valuable assets. We also know that for many of you, your future is brighter than your last 3 years' financials. Meaning as you're building this scaling company, you've landed some contracts that are coming down the pipeline or recently signed or just under early stages of execution. And that if you can land that revenue, you will scale and grow and build a financial history and a track record that will be attractive to more traditional financial providers as well. But you just need to get there. We know that your product or service matters to companies that matter. As a minority supplier, you're in a competitive situation, and you have to deliver a value proposition that matters to large scale companies. They've selected you, they've selected your product for a reason. And we know that helping you scale helps them deliver to their customers more effectively. We also know that your revenue growth is in those POs. I hear that all the time, right? I have those POs. If I can just bring those POs in-house more effectively, more efficiently, and more profitably, we'll get over the hump and be able to scale. And clear, we know you need someone to believe you can deliver, right? That the opportunity outside the building is often more attractive, more valuable, and more profitable than looking in the rearview mirror. And we know that on Clear, you will deliver. So what have we built? Why does that business process matter? We've built a number of tools that make small companies and scaling suppliers more effective suppliers to their customers. The first is an order-to-cash workflow management software. So in the introduction, some of the folks talked about managing cash flow. Managing cash flow inside of an order from a customer is really what's called order-to-cash, right? From the minute you receive a purchase order all the way to the last payment from the customer and final settlement, there are many business processes related to procurement, related to operations, related to finance and compliance, and even legal that need to be managed in an orchestrated flow. And on the Clear platform, we've built a software to do that. Inside the order to cash cycle is something called the cash conversion cycle. And that cash conversion cycle is all the way from paying your first supplier for the inputs to collecting that last payment. And all of the days payable, days sales outstanding, and all of those business processes are orchestrated inside of Clear. We automate AR and AP. So as a small team trying to stay lean, trying to scale, you can use Clear to better execute your AR and AP. The commercial bank accounts inside of Clear are high yielding on the first dollar deposited. We know that a lot of small companies have banking relationships where you have a very high minimum or a very high deposit threshold. Clear can pay high yields on the first dollar deposited with us. And we also can pay high yields on the cash flowing through our financial products, which I'll get to momentarily. We also offer digital and intelligent invoicing, meaning the invoicing process is electronic, is digital, and also is smart as you move through different regions and jurisdictions. So if you're selling to a company in the UK or in France or in the US, the invoicing product is responsive to the payment offerings in those markets. And all of these tools unlock access to two unique financial products. One is an invoice discounting finance product, where we can accelerate the recognition of revenue and the acquisition of cash by purchasing invoices at a discount very quickly. And most importantly, because we're using all of this data that is flowing off of the order to cash management software, we can do it very cheaply. And once all these orchestration tools are flowing well, the last piece is what a lot of companies come to Clear wanting, and we have to educate them and coach them to get there, but they get there, is purchase order finance, the ability to use the Clear platform to pay your suppliers to fill orders in large scale contracts. And so the tools that I've outlined here are sequenced in that way because each one of them builds upon the others. And if you use them all in a coordinated flow, you're really able to change those things that I mentioned in the front, your gross margins, your profitability, your ability to scale, and to scale into the volumes that your largest customers want you to scale into. We've tested this in some high impact markets, in some really difficult markets, where we were improving local content programs in East Africa. So local content programs are commitments by international companies, international organizations to work with small businesses in the region. And some of the programs we worked with are listed here: United Nations, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Red Cross, and the governments of Kenya and Rwanda. When they were doing procurement, whether it was in the healthcare space, energy, industrial supply and equipment. They had commitments to spend certain amounts of dollars with local businesses. And those local businesses had a lot of the problems that small companies everywhere have. Scaling into that enterprise or government demand, managing large-scale order-to-cash cycles, managing the complexities of cross-border procurement, were all solutions that we learned to help solve with these organizations. We were able to manage over $100 million in project value for these organizations, and did some really impactful things like built a 500-bed hospital using the software, as well as help to decrease the incidence of malaria in Rwanda by 3 million cases. So we've tested the platform across, difficult jurisdictions, across challenging borders, using multiple currencies, and in some fairly complex and sophisticated orchestration projects, and know that it works well in doing that. Now today, we brought the platform in 2022 back home to the United States, and now suppliers use Clear to sell to some pretty interesting companies. We sell shipping containers to Vestas, cleaning chemistry to Tesla, artificial intelligence biotechnology to the University of San Francisco, networking technology to Siemens, radar solutions to SpaceX, and specialty vehicles to the Italian government. At Clear, we don't know how to make or sell any of these products. Our suppliers that make products customers want, and that are scaling on Clear into enterprise demand, are the stars of the show. And our platform just helps them do what they do better. I have one supplier, a little bit of risk here to show a video, but hopefully it'll work, where this is a veteran and female minority-owned supplier and their success story running their business on Clear. These are, in the previous slide, the ones who sell shipping containers to Vestas, as well as Lockheed Martin and Boeing, and you'll hear some of that in the video.
Can't hear the volume, Chris.
All right. There's the risk. All right.
Chris, you can reshare the video, select include sound when you do the share.
Okay, let me see if I can pull that off. Hold on one second. Hear that?
No sound yet.
All right. I may be too ambitious here, but I can, I'm not a very good Teams user.
That's okay. Check the chat image.
Check the chat image. Share content. Okay, let me see if I can do that. If not, I'll share it afterwards. Share. It says screen, window, or tab. Am I doing that wrong? Share. Oh, wait, I think I just saw it.
Be there.
Hold on.
Okay.
I just saw it. Hold on. This will be my last try. Also share tab audio. Okay, I did it. I think I did it.
This market is huge. We are the snowball.
Got it?
Yes,
Got it.
we can hear now.
Lovely.
This market is huge. We are the snowball rolling slowly down the hill, picking up more and more customers as we roll. We have opportunities developing now that are financially significant. To fulfill these financial requirements really makes a big difference in the way I make decisions. Without that, it would be a struggle, and there would frankly just be some things we would have to say no to. But that's not in our nature. And we know the product has really serious potential and industry wants it. Cakebox as a startup company had a great innovation idea and concept, but bringing a concept to market requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and really strong, capable employees, colleagues, and partners.
One of our major clients is Boeing. Another example is Vestas, a proponent of wind energy. We just delivered the 2,250-ton platforms, and they had already said, hey, we need another 50, but we need 20 of them before Christmas. So we got to rush.
Once Vestas has us design the product and has a short test period, they are ready to go full scale. While that's a great opportunity for us, for small companies, there's a lot of pressure on once you get the large order, how are you going to fund it? The funding of the production side is the crux of survival.
Cakebox Technology is a small veteran-owned business. We don't have this infinite capital. When a customer comes back after the first article is built, and they're like, hey, we really like what you built. We want about, in the case of Vestas, we wanted 44 of these platforms who are relatively expensive. That would be okay if that was the only project. But concurrently, we may be working for Boeing. So you're kind of stuck in a bind in terms of the flexibility or the cash flow that allows you to say, okay, no problem, we can do it. So that's where Clear has been really just an incredible partner to enable us to take on other customers that will ask for that scalability and be able to say, okay, we need 20. And then to be able to take on other projects that will require another down payment.
Being able to fund the larger orders, which really develops the confidence from your customer, is what gives us the growth vector that we need.
One great thing about Clears is we're moving in a direction where everything is going to be managed into this one nice, cohesive tool. So this has helped to be a little more able to breathe, to be able to think strategically.
What Clear has done for us to give us the ability to react, to give us the flexibility and the maneuvering options. Otherwise, we would be limited to conventional financing platforms that are not really business friendly to small companies.
They're so light years ahead of the concept that they built in terms of helping that small business and really not only giving them the capital, but at every junction to be able to be a full partner.
I applaud Clear for their initiative. Make it available, friendly to use, interactive, and totally supportive on a daily basis to us and to my team.
All right. So that company, Cakebox, I mentioned them a couple of times. They came to us in 2023 and had an order from Vestas. We were able to digitize that order, map and model their order to cash cycle and their business process. And we were able to fund about $237,000 worth of order volume for them in 2023. We worked with their team to further onboard them into the platform, adopt some of the additional tools, and start to use Clear as a tool for collaboration. And in 2024, we will do approximately $12 million in order volume with them. As they add team members and scale into the growth, they're bringing new team members directly onto the Clear platform and training them in the business process management that Clear has digitized for them. They're able to hire team members remotely and work in a single system of record where everyone looks at a single source of truth and a single pane of glass for those business processes. And we are forecasted to do, in collaboration with Cakebox, $40 million in transactional volume in 2025. So again, 270 in 23, about 9 million in 24, and headed towards 40 for 2025. And, they are in a good spot as a company, being able to sell to top tier clients like, Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Vestas. They have a high quality product that's in demand. But like many small businesses, their local banking partners, their small business banking partners have to approach them with a backward looking perspective. They have to look at their audited financials. They have to look at their last year's or 3 years average revenue and EBITDA. And Clear, using our technology and our unique business process, and frankly, our access to international and institutional capital providers who are looking to fund these types of companies and the growth that they provide to their respective sectors from an innovation perspective. They're excited to find companies like yours to back. And so it's part of the reason that we've been able to scale with Cakebox and help Cakebox to capture the enterprise demand that it has today. And they've been a great partner in developing the platform for us too. And that partnership is really critically important to the way that Clear approaches these opportunities. We know that, we've had multiple different disruptions to supply chains, multiple different disruptions to procurement markets, and lots of different strategies that enterprise customers have to use to manage their own cash. One of those strategies that they often use is extending their payment terms, right? And people are moving. We saw it through COVID, where the average enterprise supplier terms almost doubled in terms of moving from 30 to 60 or 60 to 120 or even more challenging beyond that. We know that a lot of enterprises are trying to preserve cash in these uncertain times, and then oftentimes they translate that preservation of cash into pressure on their suppliers. And that makes being a supplier hard. And we know that being a minority supplier is often harder because there are challenges related to access to capital and some challenges in the banking sector. And we also know that one of the greatest challenges in being a minority supplier is one of the biggest opportunities is that there are corporations committed to spending more in their minority supplier programs, and that they desperately want to find ways to help their suppliers that are able to deliver, that do make a high quality product, continue to scale with that demand. And Clear is really a platform built around helping suppliers scale into that demand. So in summary, at Clear, we've made it easy to onboard, to bring your team onto the platform, integrate business process, integrate workflow, and optimize the use of information across your organization. We've made it therefore easy to access new types of capital, organize your order to cash and cash conversion cycles around access to that capital. One thing I want to stress, it was in the video itself, but is really important to underscore, is that when you start to unlock access to new sources of capital, scaling sources of capital, rapidly deployed sources of capital, it changes the way you manage your company. It changes the way you think about scale and think about going to market. And it changes the way that you sell. We also have a pretty unique network where we have users selling across the network itself. And all of these things come together to improve your margins, improve your profitability, and strengthen your business, which ultimately allows you to scale into enterprise demand. Joining the network is free. We expect to have some additional benefits for members of this organization, and you can learn more about joining Clear in 3 ways. The best way is to get in touch with Dorcas. Contact information is here on the screen, and this presentation will also be provided and posted. Get in touch with Zane from Tompkins Ventures, who was kind enough to introduce me, or go to the website. And if we recognize that you are part of the MSDC, those benefits will accrue to you. More on that to follow. So that's the end of my prepared remarks and my presentation. I'll pause there and see if there are any questions that I can answer.
Any questions from the audience for Chris? Chris, I have a couple that I thought I'd throw out there that might be beneficial. It's one would be, what's the process that the business owner would go through for this, and then secondly, is it industry specific or industry agnostic from the standpoint of types of businesses that you support?
Yeah, thank you, Dorcas. So, I made the claim that we've made it really simple to onboard, so I should probably talk about that. The way that works is, you get in touch with one of us that I mentioned in the last slide there, and then we will send you an onboarding survey. And in that survey, you kind of tell us a few details about your company, some of your details about your customer base, how you're organized, and we will set you up a digital workspace. And then we provision that digital workspace to you, and you're able to onboard and invite team members into that workspace. The one important point that I may have left out of the presentation is the software at this introductory level is free. We earn revenue from the use of those embedded tools. We do have a premium offering that is subscription, but is not required to do any of the things that I talked about today. So getting on board is as simple as requesting access to the survey, filling out the survey, and then engaging with our onboarding team to build out the workspace and learn how to use the tool. We've seen companies go from onboarding to fully funding in less than 24 hours. We've seen some companies, take 24 weeks. It really depends on the readiness of the business itself, but we made it really simple to onboard.
And the other question was on industries that you support.
Oh, thank you, Dorcas. Yeah. So we have some industries where we have expertise and strength. So we've done a lot in the supply chain itself. The cake box example is one. So if you are a supplier that provides a solution in the context of supply chain, we have a lot of breadth and experience there. Aerospace and defense is a strength. Technology and technology infrastructure is a strength. Autonomy and energy transition is a strength. EVs are strengths. But we've also done things in the services sector. We've done things in the retail sector. It's really based on who the strength of your customer is that we underwrite. And so we are industry agnostic, but have some strengths and expertise in those verticals that I described.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Any questions from folks on the webinar? Okay, if there aren't any questions,
I might add one.
Go ahead.
I might add one. Chris, could you spend a few minutes talking about companies that are in a position that have a supply base that they might be able to unlock some of the value for their suppliers?
Yeah, thanks, Zane. So basically, if you're a corporation and are looking to either increase your deployment and spend to a certain supplier base or even launch a program, Clear is really a digital platform that makes that very efficient and very scalable. And why is that? So the reason that we are able to do that is underlying the Clear software is a strong dose of business process automation. And when your suppliers are on Clear, those business processes become very uniform. So the way that they receive orders can become very uniform. The way that they process orders very uniform. The way that they can broadcast the achievement of milestones toward a specific delivery become very uniform. The way they invoice becomes uniform. The way that they collect, reconcile, and settle becomes very uniform. One of the challenges that we've learned from some supplier-specific programs is the lack of business uniformity and the lack of continuity across different supplier groups. And so the Clear platform normalizes all of those business processes. In addition, we have a large institutional investor base that wants to deploy capital against these types of programs. They underwrite the credit quality of the sponsoring organization. So I mentioned selling to Walmart or selling to Tesla. And that is the big question is, do we have a credit worthy sponsor? But then once they do that, they know that because the business processes are uniform, that they can deploy meaningful amounts of capital against those supplier programs. So that combination of institutional asset management, business process, and the normalization and business process automation for the smaller supplier come together to unlock so supplier specific programs and supplier diversity programs and help them scale to the commitment levels that a lot of great corporations want to achieve. Thanks for that, Zane.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions before we wrap up here? If not, what I'll say is for those that have registered for this webinar, essentially you have access to the link with the actual presentation as a part of the partnership engagement feedback process that the organization has put together. I see Terrence. Looks like Terrence is still here. Terrence, anything you want to say as we wrap up here?
No, I great. Other than I greatly appreciate the information that has been provided this afternoon. Once again, the whole issue of working capital and cash flow is obviously very key to the successful operation of a business, and this provides an alternative and platform for our clients to be able to hopefully take advantage of and help with the growth and development of the business. We're certainly going to make sure that not only people who were on this call, but in general, are able to get this information so that they can take a look at it and determine, how it can fit with their particular situation. So, thank you all, for the three of you, for the presentation information provided today. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Terrence. We definitely look forward to it. This is leading edge from a standpoint of a solution there, and just looking forward to having the opportunity to support as many of the businesses as possible within the organization that those that you host within the organization.
Terrific. Thank you all.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Zane
everyone.
and Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.